For most people watching at home, Bradley Walsh has always seemed like the man who brings comfort into the room. The familiar smile, the warm laugh, the quick joke that lands exactly when nerves are at their highest. He's the kind of presence that makes strangers feel like old friends and tense moments feel lighter just by standing there. But behind that familiar face lies a story many never imagined. For years, Bradley carried a deeply personal truth, one shaped by loss, reflection, and quiet strength. It wasn't something he spoke about often, not because he was ashamed, but because some emotions are too fragile to place under bright studio lights. When he finally chose to open up, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, it was gentle, honest, and unexpectedly touching. And fans felt it instantly. Bradley spoke not as a television icon, but as a man who has loved deeply, laughed deeply, and hurt deeply too. He shared how certain moments in life leave a permanent mark, how even the most cheerful personalities carry invisible memories that shape who they become. There was no bitterness in his voice, no anger, just reflection. He admitted that for years, humor became his shield, not because the pain defined him, but because laughter helped him survive it. And suddenly, so many things made sense. The warmth, the empathy, the way he reacts when contestants stumble or succeed, the reason his encouragement always feels so genuine. It comes from understanding. What made fans lean even closer was the way Bradley spoke about love. Not romantic love alone, but love in all its forms. Love for family, love for shared memories, love for moments that don't last long enough yet stay forever. He joked softly that life has a funny way of teaching lessons when you least expect them. One minute you're laughing, the next you're learning something that changes you quietly, without warning. That gentle humor, his signature touch, kept the story from feeling heavy, even when emotions ran deep. And that balance is exactly who Bradley Walsh is. Romantic, not in grand gestures, but in appreciation, in cherishing moments, in honoring the past without being trapped by it. He explained that for a long time he kept this truth close to his heart, not hidden out of fear, but protected out of respect. Some memories are sacred. Some feelings don't need an audience. But as the years passed, he realized that sharing could bring comfort, not just to himself, but to others who might be carrying similar stories. That realization changed everything. Fans who listened didn't hear sadness alone. They heard gratitude. They heard growth. They heard a man who learned how to turn pain into compassion and silence into understanding. There was even a moment of light laughter when Bradley admitted that if he didn't joke about life, it might get far too serious. And honestly, fans laughed right along with him, because that's the Bradley they know, the one who finds joy even when life tries to dim it. What made this revelation so powerful was its simplicity. No dramatic build-up, no shocking details, just truth, spoken calmly like a quiet conversation shared over a cup of tea. Viewers began to see him differently, not as someone changed by hardship, but shaped by it, strengthened by it, softened in the best possible way. Social media quickly filled with messages from fans saying how connected they felt. Many admitted they had gone through similar experiences, but never knew how to talk about them. Others said they now understood why Bradley's presence always felt comforting during stressful moments on screen. Because he knows what it means to hold yourself together while carrying something unseen. Yet even while touching on deeper emotions, Bradley never let the story lose its warmth. He smiled, he joked, he reminded everyone that life, even when difficult, still offers moments worth celebrating. He spoke about how laughter doesn't erase pain, it sits beside it, and somehow that made everything feel lighter. Romantic moments came not from love stories, but from gratitude, from remembering people who shaped him, from acknowledging that time is precious, from choosing kindness even when life tests you. That honesty made fans fall in love with him all over again. not because of the sadness, but because of the strength it revealed. Bradley ended his reflection by saying that carrying truth doesn't mean carrying weight forever. Sometimes sharing it allows you to breathe a little easier. And if his story helped even one person feel less alone, then it was worth telling. That sentiment lingered long after his words ended. Fans didn't feel heartbroken. They felt connected, comforted, understood. Because what Bradley Walsh shared wasn't about loss alone. It was about resilience, about choosing joy, about finding humor in everyday moments, even when life has been complicated. And perhaps that's why he remains so loved. Not because he hides pain behind laughter, but because he transforms it into warmth. As viewers reflect on his words, one thing becomes clear. The man who makes millions smile every day does so with a heart that understands both joy and sorrow. And that balance, the romance of appreciating life, the humor of surviving it, and the excitement of sharing it, is what makes Bradley Walsh unforgettable. If his story resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on the quiet strengths in your own life. Share kindness, laugh when you can, hold memories gently, and remember, even the brightest smiles often come from the deepest understanding, because sometimes the most powerful truths are the ones shared softly.
As the conversation around Bradley's words continued to ripple outward, something unexpected happened. The story stopped being just about him. It became a mirror for so many others who had quietly carried their own truths, believing they were alone in doing so. Fans began sharing memories of watching him over the years, how his laugh felt like a familiar sound in unfamiliar days, how his encouragement on screen somehow reached beyond the television. Many admitted they never realized how much comfort they had drawn from him until they heard him speak so honestly. Bradley, in his own gentle way, acknowledged that connection. He said it was strange, almost funny, how people you've never met can feel like part of your life. He joked that he's probably spilled tea in more living rooms than he could count, even if he was never actually invited in. That humor softened everything again. But beneath the laughter was sincerity. He explained that being open wasn't about seeking sympathy, it was about honoring the journey, about recognizing that life isn't just the highlight reel, it's the quiet moments in between that shape who we become. He spoke about mornings when memories feel closer than usual, and evenings when laughter feels like the best companion. He shared how routine can be comforting, how familiar faces and friendly banter can feel like anchors when the world feels uncertain. And then he smiled and said something that made many people pause. He said that joy doesn't disappear after difficult moments, it just learns to arrive differently. That line alone stayed with fans. Bradley admitted there were times he questioned whether people wanted to hear deeper stories from someone known for humor, but experience taught him that laughter and honesty don't cancel each other out, they strengthen each other. He said the best kind of romance isn't always about passion, but about presence, about showing up, about being real, even when it feels easier to perform. And that thought resonated deeply. Because throughout his career, Bradley has never pretended to be perfect. He's tripped over words, laughed at himself, teased contestants, and occasionally looked just as nervous as they did. That humanity is what people love most. He also shared that keeping the truth close for so long taught him patience. It taught him to listen better, how to notice small details, how to value moments that others might rush past. In a light-hearted moment, he joked that age gives you wisdom, but it also gives you reading glasses and an impressive collection of forgotten passwords. That single joke sparked smiles everywhere, proving once again that he knows exactly when to lighten the mood. Yet the heart of his message remained steady. Life leaves marks on everyone, some visible, some hidden, And the strongest people aren't those who avoid pain, but those who learn how to carry it with grace. Bradley emphasized that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. It means allowing memories to coexist with new joys. It means letting laughter return without guilt. It means choosing warmth over bitterness. Fans noticed how calm he seemed while sharing all of this, not guarded, not fragile, just open. That calm came from acceptance. He explained that the truth he once kept close no longer felt heavy, not because time erased it, but because understanding softened it, because sharing turned it from a burden into a bridge between him and the audience, a bridge between people who have loved and lost, a bridge between past and present. As reactions continued to pour in, one thing became clear. This wasn't a moment that made fans step back. It made them lean in. It made them appreciate him not just as an entertainer, but as a storyteller whose stories are rooted in real emotion. And perhaps that's why his smile still feels so genuine. It isn't untouched by life, it's shaped by it. Bradley ended by saying that if there's one thing he's learned, it's that hearts are stronger than we think. They bend, they ache, they laugh again, and sometimes sharing a truth, no matter how long it's been held, can be the most freeing thing of all. That message lingered quietly. Not dramatic, not loud, just real. And in that quiet honesty, fans found something rare on television: connection without performance, emotion without spectacle, romance without exaggeration, and humor without disguise. As viewers reflect on his words, many will continue watching him with new understanding. The jokes may feel warmer, the smiles deeper, the pauses more meaningful, because now they know the heart behind them. And that makes every laugh, every moment, and every shared second feel even more special.